104.5 The Team, your home for New York sports. Levack and Wolf were joined by Jim McBride. He covers the New England Patriots for the Boston Globe. Jim, what is New England doing today? What is the feeling throughout Boston and the area as Tom Brady appears to have to serve that 4-game suspension?
Well, sweating for sure, in more ways than one. It's about 90 degrees out here outside, but the temperatures have definitely taken a backseat to the Brady story. I think most rational fans had it in their head that this was what was going to happen, but the reality of it is sinking in now, and people aren't too happy about it for sure.
Brady now getting the 4-game suspension. Apparently, he still has the option of going to Supreme Court. Do you think that's something they'll do, or do they just go ahead and eat the 4 games at this point?
I think he goes to the mat and exhausts all his resources at this point. He said last year that he wasn't in it to get this far. He wanted to go as far as he can. He was talking about a football game at the time, but I think that's pretty much his philosophy. He's been dug in, maintains his innocence all along, and I can't see him backing down now, even though it's a longer than long shot to have the Supreme Court stay this or even hear it. But I think he'll go that route. He'll exhaust it all before he actually has to sit.
Jim McBride of the Boston Globe right here on 104.5 The Team ESPN Radio. Jim, is there anybody in the Boston area that actually thinks this is right? That, hey, you tampered with the product, you should be suspended, the 4 games is what it is? Or is it prevailing throughout that entire area that this is abuse of power for Roger Goodell?
Yeah, I don't think you'd find anyone in this area that thinks it's a just penalty at all. Most people think it has gone from an unjust penalty now to almost a vendetta for Goodell to try and make him serve this penalty. I know that's not from traveling throughout the country last season. That's certainly not the prevailing thought throughout America, but in New England it sure is. I mean, they think this is a personal thing. They think it's an abuse of power by Goodell, and they're locked in with that mindset.
Does this damage the legacy that is Tom Brady at all?
In this area, certainly not. I mean, I know that's very important to him, his legacy. I think the 4 Super Bowls, the 6 trips to the Super Bowl, all he's done. This is going to end up being a small blip on the radar screen as far as I'm concerned. But I think that people will, outside of New England, people that aren't Patriots fans are always going to attach that asterisk. Where people that are Patriots fans are just going to try to forget about this when it finally is served.
Jim McBride of the Boston Globe. When you look at the New England Patriots, 4 games beginning the season, Jimmy Garoppolo under center, is this still the AFC East champion, or does this open the door for one of the other 3 teams to sneak in and take the crown?
Well, I think a little bit of both. I mean, it definitely opens the door for one of the other teams, but I think they'd still have their work cut off for them. I still think the Patriots are the favorites in the AFC East. The team, probably the closest team, maybe is the but they still haven't had their quarterback situation straightened out yet. So, it's still their division, I believe. It's just that, like you said, the door is open just a little bit now for another team to come in and maybe make a statement in those first 4 games, particularly if the Patriots get off to a rough start.
It just feels like for the rest of the country, like we are your home for the Jets here on 104.5 The Team. It just, for me as a fan, I just feel like this is going to embolden the Patriots. I just feel like this is one of those things they'll go 2-2 through there, and then they'll end up at 14-2 at the end of the season.
Yeah, nobody uses the yes against them mentality better than the Patriots and Coach Belichick, and I certainly see him using this as a motivating factor. And history shows when they've got a chip on their shoulder, the rest of the league ends up paying for that chip. So this could be another one of those situations. It's not the worst outcome for this team because they get a 4-game glimpse at what the future's like. So while certainly they'd rather have Tom Brady in there, now they get to find out what happens. Maybe worst case scenario is 2-2. I think that Arizona game was going to be tough, even if Brady was in. It's opening night, it's in Arizona, but then they have 3 straight home games. They're tough at home, no matter who's the quarterback. So we'll see.
Jim McBride of the Boston Globe right here on 104.5. The team covers the Patriots. We're hearing some scuttlebutt, some rumors that this could be the thing that shuts down the league for the next collective bargaining agreement. That now that even a guy like Tom Brady, who's getting 4 games when it's written, you get a fine when you tamper with equipment, not a 4-game suspension. Are you hearing anything that leads you to believe that the next bargaining agreement, the next negotiations could shut down the league?
Well, I haven't heard that, but I certainly think that what the NFLPA came out with today, saying that this is a system that needs fixing, you could certainly infer that from the wording of their release this morning concerning Brady. They certainly don't want this power that Goodell has to be judge, jury, and executioner, and I think that will be the major sticking point when negotiations come up again, because they don't want to see another situation like this. It's such an odd situation where a league would take these steps to take their marquee guy out of playing. Usually a league would want the most recognizable guy playing those games for ratings or whatever, but the NFL, it's a different breed.
Jim McBride, he covers the Patriots for the Boston Globe. Local guy on your team, Dion Lewis. Nobody keeps their mouth closed better than the Patriots. What are you hearing about his recovery? Can we hope to see the Albany guy on the field lighting it up again for the Pats in the near future?
Dion came out for the final OTA that the media was allowed to observe. It was his first time on the field during the spring, and he was exceptional. I mean, he was crisp. He wasn't wearing a brace on his knee. He was sharp. He looked like the Dion Lewis that shocked everyone last year during training camp when everyone said, "Who is this guy?" He spoke after that practice session. Said that he followed the rehab to a T, and he is looking forward to having a lot of fun this summer and this fall. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave Dion the Gronk bubble wrap treatment for the exhibition games and held him out, because they know what he can bring to the table, and why risk an injury to a guy like that. But the sky's the limit for him in this offense. He can do it all. He can run, he can catch, and he proved to be a pretty fair a pass blocker last year. So this is a guy that could help ease the burden of not having Brady for those first 4 games.
Jim, the other big story out of the Boston area is that this is Big Papi's final season. Is there any plans, just to stop and honor him throughout the entire city when this is over?
I haven't heard anything yet, but I have a feeling that last homestand will be something else. He's Boston. He really is. This is his city. I'll leave out the expletives, but from his famous quote. But he's just adored in this town, and a lot of people are sad to see him go, me included, from a selfish standpoint.
It's just so amazing, like how the Boston area, the New England teams, how they have been able to get these polarizing characters. Like Tom Brady, you love him or you hate him. David Ortiz, you love him actually, you live in Boston or you hate him. Like how do you guys keep finding these amazing talents and just using them so perfectly against the rest of the world?
I guess luck has a lot to do with it. Certainly, I guess you'd have to credit Pedro for the Ortiz thing, because he convinced the Red Sox to sign him. But even after they signed him, he had to battle just to get his at bats with I believe it was Jeremy Giambi, who he was behind the depth chart with at his first year in Boston. So, I guess the scouting departments and a little luck. Lewis came in last year. No one really knew who he was. He was signed to a futures contract, and he came in and he was just, he was electric until he went down with that knee injury, unfortunately, last year.
Jim McBride of the Boston Globe, we appreciate you coming on. I'm one of the biggest Yankee homers on the planet, so thank you for actually adding some kind of validity and evening out the show for a little while.
Oh, my pleasure.